and welcome to West Midlands Safari and to our sea lion show. Now before we bring out our sea lion, we have a couple of safety announcements! Oh, you're going to be a good crowd, I can tell. Now if you do need to leave the show at any point, that's absolutely fine. All you need to do is give a lovely big wave to Chloe over there. She's from Manchester, she's really friendly. She'll come over to you guys and get you out of the theatre as quickly and safely as possible through the doors over on your left or your right, that's my left, over there. If we open the doors that you guys came in, everyone that didn't manage to get into the show will try and run in, so no one is using those doors for leaving. You will all be leaving through those doors. When it gets to the end of the show, please do just stay where you are in your seats and we will let you go one row at a time. We understand this is a little bit boring, but it's the best way to keep all of you safe. Now, do you understand? Yes! Do you want to see a sea lion? Yeah! We're excited about that. Now, joining us is Callum and Vicky as well. You've just seen her lovely little head pop around the corner. But you don't care about Vicky. You care about this big lump next to her. Now, his name is Callum, and he's really friendly, so give him a wave. Say hello.
Hi.
Now, Callum is hopefully going to help us out today and answer just a couple of questions. Now, the first one is from how on earth do we train our sea lions here at the park? In theory, it's quite simple. Practice a little bit harder. Now, we use positive reinforcements. Every time Callum does good, he gets a fish. He can also have attention, a cuddle, a game of football, and he likes noise. He's going to show you exactly what noise he wants you to make. Look at that. Wow. He has also got a little bit of an ego because over lockdown, he was on television! Now don't get too excited, but he was on the Gadget show. It's like having Beyonce in the room, it's amazing. If anyone wants autographs afterwards, we'll work on it. Now, when we first started training Callum at the very young age of 16 months, we introduced him to that whistle around Vicky's neck. She'd blow the whistle and give him some fish. She'd do this over and over until he realised that that very specific noise meant good things would come because he'd get lots of fish. Then she introduced that funny looking stick. So all we ask Callum to do is touch it to the end of his nose. Very first time he does that, we blow the whistle, give him some fish for that. Very simple. Now Callum's quite clever, and he's realised if he follows that target wherever Vicky puts it, then he gets a reward for doing so every single time. So we can get really creative. We can get Callum moving around in lots of different places just by using a funny looking stick. Callum. Now, it is really handy, and we use it to train about 95% of the things that our sea lions know. But we don't want to have it there all the time. We want to use something called cues, which is a little bit like sea lion sign language. So you'll see Vicky doing lots of different things with her hands. This is how she is communicating with Callum, because he doesn't understand Scottish people, does he? It's very embarrassing. Callum's also Dutch, so all three of us have got an accent. It's a miracle we can communicate. That's why cues are so handy. Now, some of them really obvious. If Vicky stands there saluting, you're going to notice because Callum notices as well. But we do have more subtle cues to make sure he's paying attention. If we want him to agree with everything that we say, we just point at him, and we're always right. It's the best thing in the world. It's pretty good, isn't it, Vicky? Now we can get Callum doing loads with our cues. One thing that we can ask him to do is actually porpoising. So this is something really simple that sea lions would naturally do in the wild. We just point once above the water, and Callum will jump in and out. Sea lions actually do this in the wild when they are running away from very scary predators, very scary ones. Callum, let everyone know how big your predators are. Oh my gosh, they're massive. Now Callum has actually learned to do an impression of something that would want to eat him. And again, this was done using the target. Now if you can figure out what on earth he is, shout it out nice and loud. Now it's absolutely terrifying, it is a shark. And sharks, killer whales, anything like that, like to eat sea lions. Callum's got about 5 inches of blubber. He's got a lot of fat, which is very important. He does need that. Unfortunately, that makes him quite tasty to sharks. Now, I forgot where I was going. How we train. Now, why are we doing our training in the first place? Callum may look cute and cuddly, but he's actually a large carnivore, just like lions and tigers. Now, you're not crazy enough to do that with a tiger, Vicky, but thankfully, Callum has been training since he was very, very young, and he's a sea lion, so he likes to eat fish. So through training, we can get really close to him. We can ask for different health checks. So we can ask Callum to open up his mouth nice and wide, have a little bit of a poke around in there, and make sure everything is completely healthy. He's not really that fussed about going to the dentist at all. We can also do lots of different health checks with them. We can look in our sea lion's eyes, get them ready for eye drops and things like that, because that does have to happen sometimes. So if they're used to it, then it's really no problem whatsoever, and it means they don't have to get stressed out when we do health checks with them. Now, if they were ever in any pain, anything like that, we'd get the vet down. Now for us, it's quite easy to just go behind the sea lions, give them a little bit of a poke and a prod, but the vet cannot do that because she doesn't really know Callum all that well. If she was behind him and he wasn't feeling well, he doesn't have a collarbone, so he can whip his head back really, really fast, and he could bite her, Vicky. And we've been told we'll get fired if that happens, and I quite like this job. So instead, we ask Callum to get into the best position you're ever going to see. Wow, he's looking in the tub. He's like, I'm going to get that ball and have a little bit of a play around with it. Callum's gone rogue, everyone. He's having some fun here. Now, when we do our training, the sea lions decide what they want to do. As you can see, Callum has clearly decided health checks are boring and he wants to play with a football instead. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, Callum, do you want to try and do that lie out again? What are you feeling? Yeah. There's no distractions this time, I hope. So we're going to try once more. If he picks up the ball, it's going to be fun. He's doing well. Now, normally when we do lie outs, there aren't any distractions. But we ask him to lie nice and still on the ground. We can stay near his head where he knows and trusts us, and the vet can have a good look around his entire body. And this means that everyone, including Callum, is as safe as possible. Now, you made me laugh there, so I think you deserve a round of applause. That was very funny, Callum. You cheeky little sea lion. Now, another reason why we do our training is just to make sure that these guys are getting exercise. Callum weighs about 30 stone, so we have to do a couple of different things to make sure that he is working out. Now, the first thing we're going to do is a bit scary. We're going to ask him to go all the way up to that terrifying tower and jump in! It's going to be amazing, isn't it? Yeah. At least one person wants this to happen. Now, what's wrong, Callum? So, Callum has said that he saw a shark in the water. Callum, you're doing that so you don't have to go up the tower, you lazy thing. Do you want to see him jump off? Yeah! You don't care that there's sharks in there. Get his bum to the top. Now, when he gets to the end, we're going to have to give him a big cheers. So here we go in 3, 2, 1, go! Now, I think we're going to have to fill his ego. He was on television, you know. So on 3, we're all going to shout his name. That sounds good. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ah, that was nice. He had a little bit of a break in the middle. It doesn't matter how fast you are, though. All that matters is that you finish the race. But I want to see something better than that. I think you should send him up there again and get him to hit that ball above the water. That sounds good, doesn't it? We don't want to watch Callum have a exercise, that's what we want. Now we can do other little bits of exercise with our sea lions. Using those targets, we can just get them down on the ground and get them moving in different ways. Callum has got a personal trainer in Vicky over there. She'll get him to do some jumps, maybe some spins, lots of different things. You stretch your flippers out, Callum. Make sure that you're using all of your different muscles. And again, while he's doing this, Vicky can just make sure that he's completely healthy. Well, that was nice. Give him a cheer. Now, it is also important that we make sure their brains are working. Callum's really clever. A little bit too clever for his own good. So we have to play games with him to make sure he's not bored. We're going to start off with Callum's favourite game, a game of basketball. Now before we throw this into the water, we have to do a disclaimer. Callum can and will get this over the glass sometimes, so if you're in the front row and the ball comes toward your face, you're allowed to hit it out of the way, that's absolutely fine. If it does land over the glass, please leave it where it is, unless it's coming straight at your face. But if it just lands on the floor, leave it. We'll get Chloe over there to come over and throw it back into the water. Just because we don't know where you've been, and you don't know where the ball has been. But good luck, everyone. Now, hopefully Callum's going to be tame, or not. It's a good start, Vicky. But Callum loves this game. He really does love a game of football. As you can see, he does have a lot of energy when it comes to this.
I don't like it.
And sometimes he can get that football 3 rows in, which is pretty impressive. Now when he's playing this, he's using the sensitive whiskers on either side of his face. He will use these to find fish naturally in the wild, so it's how sea lions would do their hunting. They are so sensitive that if Callum went blind tomorrow, he could still do all of that very, very easily. Now that game was great for working out his whiskers, but I've got another one, and this one everyone can join in on. Wow! Now you've been quite loud so far, but I think you guys have really got it in you to be the loudest audience of summer, because this is our second to last show of Summer Nights, Vicky. So these guys, you've got to prove yourselves. We are going to count all the way to 5! Yeah! There was a delay, but you know what? I can sense how excited you are. Now Vicky's going to join in. She's Scottish, she's really loud. You've just got to be louder than her. So here we go with big number! Right, so I have thought. Vicky was really loud. Come on guys, you're going to have school soon. This is the only place you can be really, really loud. You can scream if you want it. Your parents can't tell you off. So here we go with big number 2! 3! 4! 5! Very nice. That was beautiful. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, Vicky, we're almost at the end of the show, sadly. But Callum is going to do one last bit of showing off for you guys because he is amazing. So, we've got a hula hoop. It's a real, genuine children's hula hoop. Callum weighs 30 stone, so this is going to go well, I can tell already. So, just to get a bit of momentum behind him, we're going to send him all the way up the tower again. And hopefully he's going to jump off and straight through that hoop. So get ready to be noisy. We'll give him a big cheer at the end. And all the way around to the hoop! Very nice, Callum. Now this unfortunately does bring us to the end of the Sea Lion show. But Callum and Vicky have worked really hard. Give them a big round of applause to see them go. Now, like I said, we do ask that you stay in your seats and we will start letting you go in just a few moments' time. But thank you very much for coming and watching the show, and enjoy the rest of your day here at the park. Thank you very much, guys.
What's